Hello and welcome to another Friday artwork video. So I thought I'd do something a bit unusual in terms of the sets I picked from. This is a product I stumbled across by accident. Let me just get one of them on screen. It just turned up in I think languishing in some game store, and the boosters they were just regularly priced boosters. So, I think it was originally January of 2010 that Wizards released these all booster foils, or full boosters containing all foils, of a selection of cards from the whole of the Shards of Alara block. So it was almost like this weird foreshadowing to, I suppose, what the remastered, I can't remember what they called them, but where they sort of, they were later aggregate sets, but they only aggregated around the block. Was it Tempest Remasters? Was one of them? Yeah, the remastered. So it is this strange thing where they took the whole block, took certain cards, not all of them, sort of distilled it down, and then sold them as boosters, but they were all foil, and they were slightly more expensive. I think they were $11.99. Now, my understanding is that they didn't sell particularly well, and as a consequence, I came across a number of them that were, pretty competitively priced. I think some of the ones I saw were just the price of regular boosters, and there were places online that were selling them. And then I did notice later on the price sort of bump up, so I don't know whether people at that point, as I suppose people were getting into blinging out their commander decks, were maybe buying them, who knows. But anybody that knows a bit more about this, I'm not going to flick them around too much, but hopefully you'll get the feeling of the foil as I move them in. I'll try and do it a little bit just so you can see. But yeah, I thought it would be fascinating to go through these. These are all foil. And of course, we're going to see quite a number of two-colour things. And you can probably spot the other thing they did with this is there was no using a sort of special remastered symbol at this point. They just literally, had the whatever set symbol from the three sets the card came from. So yeah, every single one of these is foil. And they're from either Shards of Alara, Conflux, or Alara Reborn. And I'm trying to remember as well, because of course one of the sets, they were all multicoloured, weren't they? There was no monocolour cards in them. So. I also have no idea what the distribution was like in here. In terms of the monocolour cards, even for the commons, I seem to have lots of one-offs, so who knows. And you can see we're already onto blue. But I thought it's just given an interesting, overview, crude overview, I suppose, of three sets together. And the timing's quite good as well, because we've just been talking about the block generally in this week's Deck Musings episode, so I thought the timing was quite good for that. Yeah, after this, I'm a bit of a loss what to do in terms of set artwork for the Friday artwork video, because I've sort of run out of sets really. I've been through everything now, pretty much. I'm trying to think if I've got any particular sort of special binders. I suppose one thing I could do is maybe I'll slow roll my, I have this sort of commander toolkit thing which has built up over the years, and it started out for as part of that series I did on sort of looking at the prevalence of commander cards in different product types, going from obviously the commander product through to certain sets and other products as well. And as a consequence, I sort of built this. I sort of hived that off into its own little collection, and then I just used to keep adding commander-friendly cards from things like Deck Builders toolkits and that sort of thing, and then a few other bits and bobs. So maybe I just work my way through and pull out some random cards from there. I don't know. Let me know in the comments section if you've got any ideas about what you would like to go in this slot. Because I'm unsure. I may even just skip something a week or open some packs. I think I've got some packs I could probably open on Friday, so maybe I'll do that till I get some sort of suggestions. I mean, I might have some products still kicking around that I could crack open, but yeah, so I can always go through some random pointers. Some of these are sharing slots, I think, so I've got to be a bit careful. And as I said, I just found these languishing in, I think my first few packs, they were on sale or reduced at a comic store that wasn't necessarily, there was no facility there to play Magic, but they did sell Magic products, and they often had sort of random stuff like this. I remember picking up, I think, a Plane Chase deck possibly from there, or one other deck. I think it might have been I don't know if it was a Slivers deck or a Plane Chase deck, and that was like massively reduced. I think I paid about $10 for it or something at the time. I mean, I also keep on looking through my collection and see if, for whatever reason, there was anything I opened, but it never got done on the channel. It was never unboxed or opened physically on the channel. I noticed that recently when I think I did the conspiracy stuff. Certainly for one of them, I discovered that I never actually cracked any packs open on the channel. And there's been a few other things here and there in my collection where that's been the case. I think there was another time as well when I got some of these cheap because they'd been mispriced on a website somewhere. It was interesting because in the early days, and these I bought fairly early on. I mean, it was well after the original block came out, but certainly I think I originally opened these in the early 2010s. But I remember there were a lot back then. There weren't so many online resellers that were selling to Canada, and the rules were pretty strict if you were sort of in the US. Amazon wasn't selling, boosters or anything like that, and so there were a number of sites that were sort of skating the rules a bit about boosters and selling them outside of the States. again here, you see, I know I only show one copy on camera, but as I'm going through, there's not many cards here where they sort of doubled, you know, sorry, not many cards I've got where I've sort of got two of, say, cards that uncommon. I think there's some ridiculous amount of cards in here, like 537 or something. So I don't know what happened in terms of the variability, whether they bothered including all the cycles. Like I said, it's a bit of an unknown quantity, and I would be fascinated. I know, you know, many friends of the channel here are well steeped in magic history and product history. So anybody that's watching this that happens to know a little bit more about this particular product, yeah, let me know in the comments section, and I'll be very grateful. Yeah, you can see a real hodgepodge of cards. And it's funny, some of these are fared better than others in terms of if you're interested in where the bends occurring on these foil cards, it's rather interesting. It's crossways. That's why I'm not having to really move them around too much, I don't think, because it's actually catching the foiling quite nicely with the crossways bend. But yeah, it's going from like top left to bottom right is the bend on these. I see a few holes in the binder as well, so it's quite possible, not many but a few, I think it's quite possible that this has been raided for certain cards, for maybe some of the commander decks I built for certain episodes. Oh yeah, I always like the foil on this one. Let me see if I can catch this. It should. Yeah, you can see the sigils pop. I don't know how. Normally this you don't have to move it around that much actually. I don't know if I showed this one already. Oh well. Yeah, I've got a bit of a binder here which has got some gaps in it. It's throwing me. Okay, some of the other stuff. So, bone saw was in the block. Oh, nice harmony sphere. Yeah, these come out super nice. And I'm sure people remember, if they were playing around this time, yep, the obelisks. There's another one. These were common. I'm assuming with some of this stuff, like I said, that maybe they printed the whole cycle, included it in here. I don't know if anybody drafted this. And also, do you remember the panoramas? And the trilands. Yeah, well, the original Shards of Alara had a lot of stuff in it. Now, bit of a nice surprise here, because normally I keep these separate, but I did actually keep the odd. So there were some, you know, where they had basic lands. we got some foil basic lands. Now, I do have 2 planes, but they are the same artwork. Only thing I don't have here is I never pulled a foil swamp from here. I think I might have actually pulled more foils than I'm seeing here, and maybe they did end up in the my land box. The other thing they did was because it was the set or the block, they also had a number of these, tips, tricks, whatever you call them, on the rules tip cards. So they had like an F&M advert on one side and then tips and tricks on the other. Cool. So there we have it. If you enjoyed that look through a rather interesting early, I suppose, block remastered set. Like I said, I'm not sure what category at that point they were putting it into, because I'm not really aware of another product before that where they did put the whole block into boosters. Thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.